My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. Next up at UFC on ABC2, we have John Makdessi versus Ignacio Bahamondes. And this is an interesting one. I have personal beef with John Makdessi. If you have been watching UFC for a very long time, you'll remember the sponsor, Fear the Fighter. It was a clothing company back in the day, and John Makdessi and his brother, I think it was his brother, started that company. I managed a couple of UFC fighters at the time, got a Fear the Fighter sponsorship, and we never got paid. And there's a legitimate controversy about that, and he says he wasn't involved in the business, and it was a whole big thing. So I will never pick him to win. But
shame.
With that being said,
this
is an interesting matchup. He has taken John Makdessi's been off for a while. He's had a pretty bad injury. He hasn't fought in a while. He's coming back against a very young, up-and-coming, looking good lately Ignacio. So I think it's a pretty easy pick for me, especially with my bad blood and the money owed. But what are your thoughts?
John. Come on, John.
Nick, what are your thoughts on this fight?
I mean, this guy he made his UFC debut in 2010. So he's been in the UFC for over a decade. If you got beef with him, I got beef with him. You know what I'm saying? Because we ride together.
Bad boys for life, baby.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Sneeze gang. So if you look through his line and who he's fought like the who's who of, well, not the who's who, but he's fought a lot of tough competition. You know, wins over Darren Cruikshank in a striking affair, Sam Stout, Shane Campbell, very good striker, Mehdi Baghdad, very accomplished striker, Abel Trujillo, more of a wrestler, but also has knockouts, Ross Pearson, you know, and he's looked good in a lot of those fights. His problem is he's like all legs. So he's like short. He has like short arms, and but he moves in and out really well. The one thing that concerns me about this fight is that Bahamondes is an animal. So he's got really diverse striking, good spinning attacks. Like, I think his dad was his coach, so he's been training since he was born. And Makdessi has a problem backing up. When he fought Trujillo kind of put him on his back foot and made him work. But I mean, not Trujillo, I'm sorry, Trinaldo put him on his back foot and really had him backing up the whole time. That was a good fight. And Trinaldo is like one of the most underrated guys in MMA, in my opinion. When he fought Lando Venata, he was backing up like that. And Venata just said, you know what, I'm going to throw this spin kick. And you leave yourself susceptible to crazy attacks like that. And Bahamondes is the type of guy to do something like that. But I think that Makdessi, sorry, Angelo, has better composure and better boxing and better hands. And if he can keep Ignacio moving backwards, he'll win this fight. So I'm going to pick him to win this fight, but I'm not putting him in my lineup because I'm not so confident that he's not going to get caught with some of that crazy stuff if he decides to show up and fight off his back foot.
2 seconds ago, we ride together, we die together. If you got beef with him, I got beef
win the
with him.
Fight.
I'm picking John Makdessi to win this fight.
Angelo, let me just say that John, that disgusts me. I am disgusted, and that makes me sick to hear that story. And John, you're taking everything Angelo's working for. I want to fight your.
Why would you? Now I'm gonna edit that out.
So the Nate Diaz, I couldn't resist.
You can put a bleep over.
Yeah,
it.
I would just bleep it. Just bleep it. We'll just roll with it.
I'll adding work.
Jacob, you got to go next now after that one. After you call them out,
go ahead.
Oh yeah,
edit your whole segment.
Yeah, we're gonna leave this in. But that just makes me sick. But so honestly, when I watch John fight, he's a very good fighter. he's not a great fighter. You don't see that great fighter in him. He's very good. He's very technical. He's very good. I said very good twice. I realized that. But Ignacio, I think to me, when I watch him fight, and these graphics make it look a little bit weird. John is 5'8". Ignacio is, I think, 6'1", and he's got long legs, and
6'3".
He's 6'3".
He's huge.
Yeah. So he's got those long legs, and he knows how to use them. He uses his distance well. And the fighter that he reminds me of the most with this in and out, those long legs, is Gustafsson. I think he fights a lot like Gustafsson, very, very in and out, using his length. So I think he gets the job done. He's only 23, which is kind of crazy. I think John is 35 now. So John, you got to just be better, man. You got to be better.
It'll be an interesting fight. It honestly will be. So John Makdessi is very good. He's been around for a very long time. He's fought some really good people. If he was a wrestler or has ever taken down anybody, I would actually lean towards him. 6'3", like that's a lot of leg to shoot in on, but he's not a wrestler. He's a striker only. I don't think he's ever had a successful takedown in the UFC. And Ignacio being 6'3", yeah, so Dan held that up. Ignacio being 6'3", I don't care how good of a striker you are. That's a giant, like that's a big distance gap. And he has to really bob and weave and Mike Tyson his way in. And that's not who he is. So it'll be interesting. I have Ignacio in my lineup. I have him to win. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I don't have either of these guys in my lineup right now, but I am leaning towards Ignacio. I may work him in. The problem is with Makdessi, we all talk about it. He's been in the UFC. He's got experience. He's fought tough guys. And I just always get nervous against those guys who are veterans that have been in the game, have the composure against kind of the up-and-coming guys who are very good. But, I mean, we've seen it lately where a lot of guys show up in their debut against a guy who's a veteran or a journeyman that's supposed to lose, and they get in trouble. So that has me a little apprehensive. But I think overall, yeah, Ignacio's the pick here. I think he's going to be bigger. I think he's going to be, I don't want to say a better striker, but just more, his style is going to be more aggressive. And I think Makdessi kind of, I don't want to say the ship has sailed. He's 35, but yeah, I think Ignacio is going to be the hungrier, younger, up and coming guy and go out there and get the win.
I did the same. I did my lineup, and then I tried to work in Ignacio because I was like, man, I really like this matchup for him. So I couldn't work him into my lineup. If there's a drop, I'll look for him to be in mine. But yeah, I agree. He's right there.
That's what it is too. The matchup too. The matchup is a bad matchup for Makdessi from what I'm seeing on tape. And to Angelo's point, 0 takedowns. Like if he doesn't have that in his back pocket, like it's an even worse matchup for him. So,
dude, 0. Like he has like probably 12 UFC fights, not one.
Right, he's a kickboxer. He's not even like a brawler. He's a technical kickboxer. And when you have basically one skill set to train for, there's a lot of different ways you can get ready for that. So I think Ignacio should be ready for this one.
Yeah, it honestly will be a fun fight because I agree with the young up-and-comer versus tried and true vet. And if you watch this show, we normally pick the vet and we're normally right. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to the matchup for sure. And $8,900, I love that price. I just love that he's not 9,000 or more. So we'll see what happens. Another fun one. Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.